Filial piety that touched the heaven. One night, I had a strange dream. In the dream, a young man with shabby clothes was stealing rice cakes offered by other people in a temple. When the young man returned home, he heated up the rice cakes and served them to his elderly mother. His mother looked at him suspiciously. "We are very poor. Where did you get the money to buy these rice cakes?" The young man answered carefully, "Oh, I borrowed money to buy them." "You've borrowed money? How are we going to pay it back?" His mother asked worriedly. The young man comforted his mother and said, "Don't worry, I will definitely work hard and pay it back in the future." After hearing that, his mother was more at ease. She persuaded her son, "You should eat some too." The young man replied immediately, "Mom, rice cakes are your favorite food. I'm happy just to watch you eat." I could generally tell that this young man was a filial son. He washed his mother's commode, gave her massages, and fed her food. When his mother fell ill, he would wait upon her by the bed and not sleep all night. He would even carry his mother everywhere on his back to see doctors. The young man worked very hard, regardless of how heavy or manual these jobs were. Then, in my dream, I saw a god standing behind the filial son. I carefully looked at the deity, who turned out to be Lord Superior Zitong, as known as Lord Superior Wenchang. This lord was most popular among the deities worshipped by students and scholars. It was said that Lord Superior Zitong would bestow worshippers with intelligence. They would get top results in exams or get passing grades. In my dream, I saw a majestic and splendid temple of Lord Superior Zitong. This dream was very unusual, so I remembered it vividly. About 3 days later, a crowd came for spiritual consultation. When it was a young man's turn, I looked up and froze for a moment. This young man was the filial son in my dream. I asked deliberately, "Did you steal rice cakes from a temple?" He lowered his head and dared not speak. I asked him again, "Did you?" "How can you steal food from the temple?" He answered sheepishly. "But I ask the gods for permission every time by casting the divination blocks. Their reply was always yes. The gods agreed, so I took the food." I laughed. So did the filial son. I tested him. "You didn't eat the rice cakes." "No, how did you know?" His facial expression showed surprise. "Who ate them?" "My mother." "No wonder the gods are so fond of you. It's because you are a filial son. The gods allowed you to steal, but also protected you. You will certainly become a great personage in the future." "No thief can become great," the filial son said despondently. "Didn't you say that you would pay back in the future?" "Yes." "Then that's borrowing, not stealing." I sympathized with the filial son. "How will you pay back in the future?" "Well, I think the temple is too old and small. In the future, when I have the resources, I will renovate the temple and refurbish the statues." "Good ambition. Which temple? For Lord Superior Wenchang?" "Yes, it's Wenchang Temple." During the spiritual consultation, I advised the filial son to study hard while he was still young. He nodded in agreement. He wanted to work part-time in order to support his family while attending school. When I was talking to the filial son, Lord Superior Zitong, Lord Superior Wenchang, was standing behind him and winking happily at me. At first, the filial son was thinking about giving up school to grow wild vegetables and raised pigs to make money. However, his final grades at high school turned out to be among the best of all students. It would be a pity if he did not continue with his studies. The school teachers and neighbors all hoped that the filial son would make them proud by continue with higher education. Hence, caught in the dilemma, the filial son came to ask me on the best course of action. I advised him to continue studying, and he decided to do just that. I saw Lord Superior Zitong stand behind him, and he gave the filial son a decree, the Zitong order. People with the Zitong order would not only pass the exams, but also come out first in the exams. As expected, the filial son passed the exam with top honors. According to him, there was an examination question that he did not know the answer to. He was thinking about it for so long that he panicked. Just as he was feeling helpless, he suddenly heard a voice telling him 2 key words. He put these 2 words into text. Then he recited the answer to himself and felt that it was just right. He looked around but could not see anyone at all. This was the magic of the Zitong order. He answered all 7 questions and got a perfect score. The filial son was later admitted as a judicial officer and served in the judicial profession. Then he was promoted to chief judge. He called on others and started the renovation of the original small temple of Lord Superior Zitong. The temple soon became a magnificent temple with front and backyards. He didn't just build the temple. He turned the backyard into a library filled with famous books, so that those who enjoyed reading would have a place to read. At the same time, the backyard became a place of leisure activities for the elderly. He considered these additional improvements to be more meaningful. On the day of the inauguration ceremony for the temple of Lord Superior Zitong, he confessed to everyone that he stole rice cakes from the temple. The listeners were touched by his story and praised him for his honesty. The filial son's behavior of stealing offerings was wrong. Why did Lord Superior Zitong still help him? Despite the filial son's erring ways, the even compassionate Grandmaster Lu did not reject spiritual consultation with the filial son. How did Grandmaster Lu guide him towards the bright and righteous path of life? What magical power did the Zitong order have? What great vow did the filial son make to help the small and old temple of Zitong? Do you know how to show filial piety to your parents in speech and in action?